Use the following figure to solve the equations and inequalities. Write your answers for parts C and D in interval notation. So we have a graph that has 3 lines on it. Y sub 1 is this horizontal line. Y sub 2 is this line that's off on a diagonal. And Y sub 3 is another horizontal line. The first part is for us to solve Y sub 1 equals Y sub 2. So we look for the intersection of lines 1 and 2. Here's line 1, here's line 2, and this is where they intersect. In particular, what we're interested in is the x value. And the x value appears to be halfway between these marks, and we'll notice that each mark is the equivalent of 2. So this is halfway between -4 and -6, or in other words, x is equal to -5. For part B, we want y sub 2 equaling y sub 3. So here we're looking for the intersection of y sub 2 and y sub 3. That intersection occurs right here, and again, halfway between 4 and 6, or in other words, x is equal to +5. For part C, we have y sub 1 is less than or equal to y sub 2, which is less than or equal to y sub 3. So what we're interested in here is, when is y sub 2 greater than or equal to y sub 1? Or alternatively, when is y sub 1 less than or equal to y sub 2? So notice that y sub 1 is this horizontal line, and y sub 2 is this diagonal line. And in this case, where we have these values along here, we have that y sub 1 is actually less than y sub 2. So when we get to this point right here, they're equal. And to the left of this, it begins to be the opposite. That is, the values of y sub 1 will be greater than those of y sub 2. So we're starting right at -5. And we include -5 since the equal to is part of that inequality. For the second part of the inequality, we're interested in, when is y sub 2 less than or equal to y sub 3? Well, here's y sub 3, and here's y sub 2. And so all of the values that are in here show that the value of y sub 2 is less than the value of y sub 3, right up until they're equal at 5. Notice that beyond 5, y sub 2, which is this line, has greater y values than the horizontal line y sub 3. So that's our solution from -5 to 5, inclusive of both endpoints. For D, we want to look at y sub 2 being less than y sub 3. Well, we just dealt with that a little bit here, so it will be helpful to go back and say, here they're exactly equal, right at 5. But then y sub 2, which is this diagonal line, lies below y sub 3, the horizontal line, all the way through x equaling -infinity. And therefore, we would write that interval as -infinity up to 5, not including either endpoint. And so that's the interval that's our solution from -infinity to 5.